All black, all black. Move it down, move it down, move it down. I'm gonna clean this. I'm gonna clean this off. Here we go. I think that's good. All black, all black. You need to let it go. I wonder if y'all have Raisin Canes. This is like the best Raisin Canes. Oh, I hate my thumbnail. Let me make sure I got these this chat up. Okay. So I mean, until y'all got some questions, I guess I'll just talk about what's about to go pop off with me very soon. With my straw. Oh, that's unfortunate. So if y'all watched my last video, I need to get a straw, y'all. I'm like really OCD about drinking drinks without a straw. If y'all so like y'all ever buy me a drink, just make sure it has a straw, because I be like, or at least in public places, I be kind of like, I can't do it. But nonetheless, moving on. So this last weekend was my last weekend in Kansas, because we have 4 days this weekend, and then what else? We have 4 days this weekend. Next week or tomorrow, I start clearing posts, and after that, I'll be leaving, taking that drive to South Carolina, where I'll be going to school starting in January for my promotion. So here's that. I'm doing good, girl. I'm just doing so good. I'm just so excited. Tomorrow is officially like my last day of work. So I'm dumb excited about that. But I really enjoyed my last weekend here. I'm low-key nervous about career course. Captain's career course. If y'all didn't know, like most of the time, any promotion above like girl, everything. Say less. Raisin Canes is life, girl, for real. It's like my high key substitute for Zaxby's. What was I saying? So pretty much E4 and above, once you like get promoted or find out your promotable status or whatever, you have to go to school before you can. Well, promotions for enlisted officers is different, but pretty much you have to attend your designated school for your rank in order to get promoted. So for me, I'm going to Captain's career course in January, and I'm going to get promoted in May. So I'm going to career course prior to promotion, so I would get promoted in May to captain. So I'll be a lieutenant promotable at career course. And but the gag is my school is in my hometown, essentially. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll at least be home for like 6 months. However, I need y'all to start asking some questions, you know? Because if not, I'm going to finish this meal and then the 30 minutes going to turn into 15 minutes. I do eat kind of slow and I drink kind of slow too. So we going to see. But I'm just here to talk to y'all. They don't have to be military questions if you don't want them to be. But I've been getting a lot of views on my military videos lately. And I haven't been posting a lot about them. They're a lot in reference to the military, so I figure I might have some questions or something like that. You know. Well, if you do, go ahead and ask. Other than that, I think that mostly I'm just ready to go home. Like, I'm ready to turn up. I go on leave for 40 days. Huh. So, going back, would you join the Army again or a different branch? So little to no people know that I actually wanted to join the Air Force before the Army. So I always, if like anybody was to ask me like, which one do you prefer? Like, which one would you say join? I would say join the Air Force, because I feel like when I did Air Force JRTC, I just feel like they take care of you. You know, personal readiness a little bit better, but I definitely feel like the Army, I was meant to join the Army. So I'm glad, I should say, that I joined the Army. I'm glad that I joined the Army. So if I had to go back, I'd probably still join the Army. My parents are in the Army. My grandparents are in the Army. So it's just only right, I feel, that I joined the Army. I don't know. I think my uncle was in the Navy. So no one, I think, in my, like, 2 generations below me joined the Army. I'm going to join any other branch besides the Navy. Besides the Navy. What's the highest rank in the military called, child? All I know is they're generals. I don't know. There's a word before it, like brigadier general. It's 5-star general, but it's a name. He has a name. General of the Army or something like that. Don't get me to telling the story. The highest I know is brigadier general, because I think. Child, that's some questions for me, I guess. I mean, that's some research I gotta do. Emmanuel, I saw your message before. It said, "What's up from Houston?" Hey, what's up from Kansas? But what rank are you? I'm a first lieutenant, promotable. First lieutenant promotable, but that's not really a rank. But first lieutenant. Is your MLS directly related to your degree? It is not. My degree was in public health. And actually, I got a bachelor's of arts in public health. And then and I branch detailed AG. So I did chemical, or is it branch detailed chemical? Anyways, I was a chemical officer for the first 3 years of my career in the Army as a lieutenant. And then right now I'm transitioning into AG, which is, which is more like human resources focused. So neither one is really like neither one is related to each other. But they have certain parts of them that could possibly be, could possibly correlate. Like, for instance, chemical, I could use public health or chemical, I could use that in my degree for public health, because like a public health issue would probably be like a chemical outbreak or epidemic within like a certain area, like something that happened, you know, and having that kind of experience could benefit my degree, but it would also have to be whatever job I have in the civilian world that would, you know, make that go together, you know, because I don't practice that. I don't practice what I've learned in public health in my job now. They teach you what you need to know. So I'm learning everything AG now. I learned everything chemical that I had time to learn. So there's that. I don't know how true this is, but I've heard people can be in the Army and Air Force at the same time. So I don't know how true that is either, but I've never heard of that ever. I've never heard of someone being in the Army and the Air Force. I've heard of people like Army soldiers being attached to Air Force like troops. Yes, like I've heard them. We work together. Like we work together as because yeah, we work together, but I've never, you know. So I'm not sure what you mean by Marines. Marine is greater than infantry because Marine is a branch, infantry is a branch within a branch. So it's kind of not like the same entity. You understand? You know? So yeah. I hope I answered your questions correctly. If I didn't, tell me. Y'all can elaborate. Well, good thing there's no Marines in the U.S. Army. I've seen Army troops wearing where have you seen that? Because let's be clear. I can be in the Air Force and wear this same type of uniform, but it's gonna say U.S. Air Force. Like, don't get the uniforms confused with what branch we're serving with. Because I can wear the same uniform. To be honest, the uniform isn't dictated by what branch of service. It's dictated by what area you're in. Like, yes, U.S. Army wears this periodically in garrison, like in the U.S. Air Force wears a different type in the U.S. Marines and Navy and the Coast Guard wear a different type in the U.S. But if we go overseas, like to Afghanistan or freaking Kuwait or some shit, like the Air Force would likely, or whatever branch would likely transition into you know, this uniform, this similar uniform or a uniform which blends in, you know, with the environment or whatever. So it doesn't just really what you should be paying attention to if it says U.S. Army, U.S. Marine Corps, U.S. Air Force, blah, blah, blah. Do you know anything or anyone who has done the Green and Gold program? I do, actually. Actually, my soldier is, she wants to go OCS, but she already has a bachelor's degree. So we're trying to encourage her to go Green and Gold to get her master's degree. But I do know a couple people who have went Green and Gold. Yes. Do you want to know more? If you do, ask a specific question about the Green and Gold program. Don't talk anymore about the Air Force. Air Force is a coward. Okay. I do what I want. Oh, okay, I thought it was dictated by which branch you ran. It sort of is, like I said. Sort of like when you're around here, but when you go overseas and stuff, like, they're going to put you in the uniform that best suits the area you're in. Like, whatever, you know, depending on your MOS too, or your branch, whatever is better for you to camo in the environment. Okay, I'm about to, because you're annoying. How do I do this? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to, like, get you out of here. What shifts do you have? What shifts did you have? Do you have? What do you mean? I'm confused. Emmanuel or King Asa. I just want y'all to know I just got off work previously, so I'm in no mood. I love y'all. Well, let's not be ignorant, okay? Let's not get ignorant. Is there a max age you can commission? Not that I know of. I don't think I really think as long as you meet the requirements to join, you'll be fine. No, I think I know somebody who's like 35 who just like commission. But I don't think there's a max age. And if there is, you should talk to your go talk to a recruiter. I really honestly I don't know. When people get orders for deployments overseas, can they choose to stay under certain circumstances, etc., like a chronic sick child? So if you get orders to deploy overseas, are you asking, like, if you get told you're going overseas, is there a way that you can stay in the States because due to your child's sickness? Is that what you're asking? I've seen where in the Army you can have light night shifts, but I don't know if it's on base elsewhere. So shifts. So here in the States, when we're here and we're like doing regular like garrison, and when I say garrison, I mean like just training here in the U.S. Most of the time it's you're on the day shift. Like you do PT in the morning, you're like 9:30. Here it's 9:30. Most posts is 9 o'clock to 1700, which is 5 o'clock in the afternoon, is the main shift. But like, let's say we go to the field or there's some like special circumstance or special training that we have to do, then that's when we start to figure out shifts, like probably running 24-hour operations or something like that. And then sometimes depending on what your supervisor determines is what shift you will be on or not. So I could be on night shift, could be on day shift. It's just where I'm most needed. It's always that case with the Army, where you are most needed. Good evening, beautiful. Do you plan to make the Army a career? If not, what's next? I was about to say, they ain't give me no napkins. Thank you. And so I did not plan to make the Army a career. And I thought I was pretty sure that I was not going to make the Army career. I thought I was pretty sure that that wasn't gonna happen. That I was gonna get out in 6 years, which would mean I only have 2.5 more to go. However, I ran into one guy for like 30 minutes. No, we sat there for an hour, but we talked about something for like 30 minutes. And he brought up retirement and the benefit of retiring in the Army as opposed to retiring in the civilian world. And I was like, dang, like I really, really should reconsider, staying in the Army. I did. Like right now, I'm not even sure. I'm not sure. And I think I won't be sure until I know what I'm going to get into after I get out of the military. But currently the plan is to, own my own business of some sort. But I can't get out with that answer. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't get out saying owning some sort of business. I have to know where I'm going to go. Like what lane I'm going to go. Am I going to invest in a club? Am I going to invest in clothing? Am I going to you know, put my fingers and everything in the different things, what I'm going to do. And if I do get out, will my investment or will my plan bring in more money than the Army can provide, bring me more benefits than the Army can provide? So that's where my head is right there. So right now, looks like I'm in this thing till I come up with a plan. So hope that answers your question, Mike. What is your opinion of ADSO or PADSO, or potentially doing both? So I think that if you plan to make the Army a career, you should definitely ADSO. I'm not sure what PADSO means, but I feel like it's in the same realm. But I feel like if you are sure that you're going to make the Army a career, and or you are committed to doing whatever the additional obligation is for you to ADSO your duty station or ADSO your branch, do that shit. Like, why would you not? If you already know you're going to make it a career, why not ADSO your branch so you're working in a branch that you want to work in, and then ADSO your duty station, because now you're living and you're working and doing those things that you love. So I feel like you should ADSO. And for those of you who don't know what ADSO means, I think it's an additional duty service obligation. I think that's what it says, or what it means. Or an additional service obligation. It's pretty much like if I wanted to get stationed at Fort Campbell, I would ADSO Fort Campbell, and it would add like 2 or 3 years to my obligation already. So say I'm already obligated 3.5 years, and I ADSO Fort Campbell, then I get 2 additional years added on to my obligation. So now I owe the Army 5.5 years. And then let's say I want to ADSO my branch. So I'm telling the Army I want to go infantry. So I request to ADSO infantry, and if I get infantry, then I owe the Army 2 more years on top of that. So right now, my full obligation would be 7.5 years. Does that make sense? Yes, stay in the States. I think there is some sort of clause or something of that nature, but most of the time, soldiers have like a family care plan or something like that. So, that, or at least that's what the Army recommends. I mean, there's a lot of factors that would have to go into that in order for the unit to determine that you should stay back. But really, it's like a commander's decision, to be honest with you. So I think it's really just, if you were in, it would be a matter of like explaining your situation to your commander, and then, you know, talking it through and seeing like what your options are there. But there might be, I'm sure there is some sort of regulation that spells this out. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'm not going to say no and I'm not going to say yes. But I think that I'm more than positive there's something that, due to that circumstance, that you could be either delayed in deployment, or you don't deploy at all, and or you do deploy. So I don't think I answered your question, but there are options there is all I'm saying. Is there's something there, a clause or something, policy or something there that, but I think it has to be like more detailed. You know what I mean? Why isn't the National Guard considered a branch? It's not considered a branch because it's essentially an entity, a reserved entity. So, well, I guess it's sort of like a branch within a branch, or maybe that's not what it's called. I don't think it's called that, but no, it's called your component. So like, you're either active component, reserve component, or your AGR, National Guard. But reserve component is essentially National Guard, unless you're like active duty National Guard, but you have to be put on special orders to be active duty National Guard, because most National Guard is reserved. Like, they only go for a weekend or whatever and do AT for 2 weeks. I was Guard before I joined active duty, but I don't think it, and the difference between reserve component and AG, or excuse me, National Guard, is that reserves is federal, while National Guard is state funded, or more likely state. They reside within the state. So like if I was South Carolina National Guard, then that's the state in which I belong to. So like if something in the state happened, like this big, and I'm chemical, let's say I'm chemical, and like this big 18-wheel truck full of petroleum, some crazy chemical oil or something spilled all over the highway, smart person, governor, whoever, would call the chemical unit within the state and or chemical soldiers from the Guard to come and assist in that matter. And like, for instance, they also call National Guard for like hurricanes and like earthquake, like stuff like that is when you can call the National Guard assist. And that's like statewide things, while like reserve and Army component is, or active component is like training to go overseas in a sense. That's how I feel. Post active duty obligation. Martin, let me know if I answered your question. Have you ever been to Fort Hood in Texas? I have not. I'm not very thrilled about going if I ever do go. I don't really want to be stationed there at all. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Hey, mama. Can you show your gas mask? It's a no. Yes, you did. Thanks. Are you considering joining the service, Martin or Omar? I can't show you my gas mask because don't ask me how the chemical officer lost her gas mask. Long story. So wait, when you first enlist and you choose, Lord. So when you first enlist and you choose to be active, you go into a branch. Then if you go into reserve, you become National Guard. Am I right? Please tell me. Okay. Let's wipe out everything. Let's just start over. So, branches of service. Okay, when I say this, I'm talking about Army, I'm talking about Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Navy. Branch of service. Now, when I'm saying branch as it relates to officers' MOSs, because that's what they're called. For enlisted soldiers, they're called MOSs. For officers, it's called an AOC, and or branch. So when I'm talking about, I guess I need to specify when I'm saying that. But when I'm saying like, depending on, I'm always going to be referencing the Army. So if I'm referencing a different branch of service, I'm going to say in the Air Force or something like that. So when I say depending on your branch, I mean depending on your MOS as an officer. Because as y'all know, I'm in the Army. So I don't really know much about the Air Force, the Marines, the Navy, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how they operate. So I'm saying branch, I'm most likely talking about someone's MOS, like their job, infantry, armor, field artillery, human resources, which is AG, like finance, stuff like that's what I'm talking about. So when you choose to go active, you go into branch, and if you go into reserve, you can become national. So now that you know that, rephrase for me. I'm an MS3 S&P cadet. I did the same thing. That's what's up. Did you just started your MS3 year? Just nervous about the entire process of picking a branch this summer or getting a branch I don't want. Well, you better put them branches you don't want at the bottom. What branch do you want? And I might can help a little bit as it relates to branch detailing. What's up with that military discount though? You either gotta be married to me, my motherfucking kid, or serving. You ain't get my discount. Wishing you all the best. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. It's coming up on 30. Oh, it is 30 minutes. Come on, push them out. Might get 5 more minutes for y'all. Because I was taking a long time to answer these questions. This shit bomb. If y'all haven't already, go watch my last 2 videos. I went home for homecoming and I did my last farewell or little farewell party here in Kansas. I do miss being overseas. I think the one thing that, like, if I had my family overseas and stuff, like, or if I had a man, like my man was with me, I think I'd be fine. But I think most importantly, I just miss being home. But overseas is lit. Like, traveling, like, all that stuff, it was a good time. My daughter, oh, how old are you? Wait, okay. How old are you? I am 26. I turned 26 September 21st of this year. My daughter's in the Navy. My son is in the Air Force. I have mad respect for all hard work. You young folk put in a big sacrifice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Honestly, I feel like the parents understand, you know, spouses get it a little bit more than like just random people who don't have people who are in the military. Yeah. Y'all get it just a little bit. I mean, y'all get it enough, I should say. But like, yeah, it's real. It's definitely real. I'm thinking MP, armor, and FA in that order. So, okay. Shit. All right, well, so yeah, you just have to do really well. Are you familiar with what the OML is and how it, how your ranking, your cadet ranking is calculated? And then the second question is, where have you looked into branch detailing? Because armor and FA are branch details. But I don't know if you want to like make armor and FA like a career, like finish doing that, or if you want to move it, do that for a little while and then move into a different branch. Do you need a high school diploma? Yes, you do, or a GED equivalent. Salute to all y'all, no matter what branch. I say who. We all out here dedicating our lives and I'm glad you're taking advantage of all the travel opportunities. Heck yeah. Had I not had to work, you know, night shift and stuff while I was overseas, I would have so many more videos, so much more to tell y'all. Like, when things go down, how do y'all keep y'all cool so well? What do you mean? What things go down? What things are going down? We going down. If something were to happen to your boots or anything the Army gives you, like you lose it or something, do they give it to you again, or you have to go buy it? So enlisted soldiers get a yearly clothing allowance. So essentially, yes, like if you were to, like if it was boots, some things you can get from your supply channels, right? Like say you lost a like ribbon that goes on your ASUs, you could probably get that from your supply. Or like you like a rank like this, you lost it, you could probably get that from your supply. But like your boots, or like say you lose your uniform top or something like that, you're going to buy it again, because the Army's already, you get an initial issue of equipment or uniforms and stuff. So you get that initial issue, and that's your initial issue. Anything after that, you're gonna either buy with your own money and or your clothing allowance that you're gonna get yearly. And so if you do lose your boots, you can just go ahead and buy it right then, and then, you know, reimburse yourself, I guess, where your clothing allowance comes in. I think that Your clothing allowance is based off of your rank as an enlisted soldier. For officer, you only get one clothing allowance. It's like $400. After that, anything that you lose or whatever, you're buying it with your own money. You get paid way too much to be getting a yearly clothing allowance, so the Army say. I follow the OML and I'm pretty high, top 5. I follow you and Sarah Lambert videos a lot. Just want to get an idea of what to expect. Okay, good. Okay, good. So top 5. Seems like you're good. So if you want MP, just make sure MP is your top choice in the same, in that order. I don't think, I mean, you're top 5 in your school. What school you go to? And how many people are in your graduating class, like your MS3 class right now? So we can start trying to narrow this down. But top 5, I mean, that's pretty good. But you also got to consider, you know, that you're also competing with the other top 5s at every other school in the Army that has ROTC. However, if you're the I mean, if you put that, and then you need to go and look and see, like, or I'm not sure where you can search this, but you might can find out what the Army's target, like what the Army is looking for the next fiscal year, 2020, when you get chosen or when your branch is supposed to be chosen. So you can see who you're competing with. Like if they need 1,000 MP officers, MP lieutenants, you know what I mean? Like you could start trying to figure it out. However, I wouldn't care. I'm putting my preferences regardless. So just continue to, you know, you might be going, I think you're going to school this summer, CLC. So kick ass at CLC so you get a high evaluation, you know, continue to do good physical fitness, you know what I'm saying? Build those relationships with your leadership, your PMS, everybody like that. You know, build those relationships with your peers. All of that you know, it all factors in essentially. And it will definitely will have a role once you go to CLC this summer. So take advantage of that. You went to USC for undergrad. I did. University of South Carolina, Columbia Gamecocks. Not the University of Southern California. We're the real USC. We were state before y'all went to college. You know what I'm saying? So even if you can't afford to replace it financially, but why couldn't you afford to replace it financially if you get paid by the Army? And so you said you get paid too much. Officers what I mean is officers get paid enough, so they shouldn't, I guess the Army is saying that they don't need a yearly allowance like enlisted soldiers do. However, here how I look at it is y'all keep changing these uniforms up. The Army is they about to come out with a whole another ASU. So I had to buy these uniforms. The Army changed the uniforms like 2 or 3 years ago. I had to buy my uniforms. Had to buy these. While other soldiers, enlisted soldiers, were initial issue these uniforms. I had to go buy mine. Then with the new ASUs, everything they're coming out with green and pink or green and pink type or whatever, I'm gonna have to buy those. Like I'm not gonna get any money to buy those. The Army decides that they're gonna change the uniform. I gotta come out of my pocket. The money they pay me to buy uniforms so that I'm within standards. Does that make sense? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay, in high school you can join the Army as an 11th grader. But the question is, do you do 4 years after high school or 2 because you did 2 years when you were in high school at the boot camp instead? So if you join the Army as an 11th grader, unless you went active duty, no. Your time in service should still count regardless unless you change components, like unless you went active duty after you graduated. But I think that your time in service should still, sorry, let me get back to that one. I think your time in service should still roll over. Like your contract should still be valid. So if you owe the Army 4 years of a reserve component, which is probably what you are if you joined in 11th grade, then the year, it still counts. You're still a soldier regardless of if you go to drill once a month. But if you were, say you owe the Army 4 years active duty, I don't know if you can do this, but say you owe the Army 4 years active duty and you will only and you did your oath or whatever, I still think it counts, to be honest. That's a recruiter question. I'm sorry. I don't want to fuck you up. I don't really know. Do you choose what fields you work in when you enlist, or they choose for you? So enlisting, I think, is a little different. I had to take an ASVAB. As an S&P cadet, this wasn't even relevant. I just needed to take the ASVAB because I was enlisting. But as an S&P cadet, we're still serving in the U.S. Army or U.S. National Guard, whatever, Army National Guard. We're still serving, but we're not. Okay, washing machine, you better work. But we're operating as cadets within our unit. So my MOS wasn't relevant because I didn't go to basic train, or I didn't go to basic or AIT. But to answer the question, your ASVAB is what's going to determine what options the Army can give you. Based off of two factors. So one is based off of what you score, and then two is based off of what's available. So they're going to give you whatever, both of those options within that spectrum. If that makes sense, it's pretty much whatever's available. If whatever's available, and then if those particular MOSs fit within the point system that relates to your ASVAB. So pretty much your score is going to determine what options the recruiter gives you. Top 5 in my class, I go to Seton Hall. I don't know where that is. Where is that? 21 cadets, yeah. I have CHT this summer. Working hard to prepare for camps. Thank you for all the advice. You're welcome, Omar. Good luck. And I think you're going to do fine. But good luck. I don't remember when they changed it. Did you? I don't have time for this ignorant bullshit. I remember when they changed it. Yo, you're badass. Thanks. Okay, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I have to, as y'all can see here, I am in the process of moving. So your girl has got to go. I appreciate all 19 of y'all and everybody that tuned in the entire time. I need you guys to thumbs up this video, okay? If you want me to do more live questions, let me know. Put them in the chat right now. You got 1 minute to drop them in the chat. 1 minute to drop them in the chat. I'm at 42:15. I hit the 43:15. If you want me to do more live videos, questions like this, put yes, put a high five, put a clap, put a yeah, you the bomb. Do it, whatever you gotta do, and I will do so. I would definitely do that for y'all. I've been kind of slacking. I'm trying to get my life together. I'm going to leave soon, so I'm so ready for that. Love from Australia. Thank you, Mama. And thanks so much. Thumbs up this video, y'all. See y'all 18 y'all in here. Let's go. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, guys. I love you. I will see you guys on my next upload. It is your girl, LATRICE. Peace.